you very much for having me. As you mentioned, I'm Vance Loiselle. I'm the CEO of TrueMotion. If you've seen a company called Sensio, we changed our name about 2 weeks ago, so we have been rebranded TrueMotion. So first, quick question for the audience. Who here has kids? Come on. OK. So I have 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old daughter, Jacqueline, and I have a 13-year-old son, Peter. And I don't know the exact stat in Europe, but in the United States, the #1 killer of teens is driving. And it's believed that that is caused today by distracted driving. And my daughter has a permit, and she just got it. She started driving. And I have a personal agenda to try to make sure the roads are safer, and I don't have to worry about her. So a little background about the company. The company started about 2.5 years ago. It basically was 2 MIT data scientists who, one of them was deployed in the military with the Air Force in the United States, and came up with this idea, how do I actually track my friends while they're deployed? You know, we have the smartphone. What can we do to actually track our friends and our vehicles as they're deployed? And then the president of Tesla, John McNeil, who is an investor as well, and Scott Griffith, the CEO of Zipcar, found these guys at an incubation competition and said, you know, this is interesting. Why don't we, see if we can leverage this for insurers? And so basically what we've developed is a behavior-based insurance platform, 100% smartphone-based. We have 20 patents filed today, 2 of which have been granted, and I'll take you through in the application some of the differentiation. As far as vetting the technology, we are basically the exclusive provider of the technology to Progressive Insurance in the United States. So they run the largest usage-based insurance platform. They're rolling out with our app nationwide starting this year, and they have more than half of the drivers in the United States on this type of platform. So what I'd like to do now is kind of talk to you and show you the app, if I can pull it off and give you some view. OK, well, we're making progress already. So the first thing I want to show you is our UBI, or behavior-based insurance app. So you've probably seen some of these before, so I'm not going to, we'll see if our network is going to cooperate with us here, and it is. So the first thing you'll see, this can be skinned or give it an interface, whatever you'd like. Progressive has taken this app and basically just reskinned it with its own version. The first thing you'll notice is that, like these usage-based insurance apps, it gives you a score, and it tracks basically key things, everything from hard braking, which is a high factor in a lot of programs, all the way down to dangerous times, harsh acceleration, and then we also track 2 types of distraction. We type phone calls, and we also track phone interaction, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So the next thing you'll see is, you get a list of trips. Like, of course, your customer wants to know what drives are they on. So the one thing that you'll see on the right is, tracking these types of trips. So some of the, if I scroll up a little bit here, I'll go back a couple days because these are a lot of drives. So on April 15th, you'll see there's 3 different types of trips. There's a steering wheel, there's an airplane, and then there's a passenger. So part of the IP that we have is our data science team has figured out how to predict that you're the driver. So we automatically know that you're taking a trip, and then we automatically know that you're the driver. It's about 93 or 94% accurate right now at predicting the driver. We have 2 patents that have been granted on this alone. And we do it from everything of understanding, you've tripped a geofence and you're in motion, to we look at your mode of transit. Are you on a plane? Are you on a train? And so on. And we use context to do that. But then we actually can use the motion of the phone. So when you get into a car, you're getting in a certain way, right? The motion of the phone has a signature, and we can very highly predict that you are the driver based on that motion of the phone. So if you look at this, the other thing that we do, and I'll just pull up one of these here, sorry. I'll just pull up this airplane. So we don't score the airplane trip. You can see it says trip excluded. So this is, I was at Boston Logan Airport. So it tripped a geofence. It knows that I'm about to take off, but as soon as I hit a certain speed, typically over 110 miles an hour, it shuts off the GPS. So it doesn't drain your battery during all your different motions during the day. We have about 2 times better battery life than any other competitor out there. It's typically about 5% usage in about a 50-mile drive. So then if you go, and I'll take you back. So if you go look on a trip, let's take a look at this trip here. So, this trip got a B score. This is all cloud-based, and you can manipulate the score as your actuaries see fit, or you can leverage our score. But everything from, hey, these are the phone calls that I took that I was on during the drive. Again, you have to be not Bluetooth connected for us to pick up a phone call. Here's where you were speeding. Here's where you had harsh acceleration, and here's where your 2 braking incidents occurred. And so you can basically learn as a driver. What we found in our studies working with customers is that over 75% of the drivers will change behavior if you give them real-time interaction with the application. So that's to give you a view as to that. And so you can basically see all the trips and routes and all of that kind of stuff that you want to see. The other thing that I wanted to just show you as it relates to the app is, if it comes up here again, dance. It's coming, I believe. So the other thing that you'll see is obviously the typical things that you're going to want to track. You're going to want to track how much mileage do you track, what time of day it is, all the kind of telematics-related things you're going to want to track is all, again, smartphone-based on the phone. So the other thing I want to show you is, so we have a consumer app that we are launching, and some insurers in the US are actually going to rebrand this app. So this app is a family safety app. It basically allows you and your family, again, depending on what level of relationship you have with your kids and your spouse, to basically allow to do a few things. 1, you can just track location to make sure they're safe. 2, you can basically make sure in the app that, if you need to find somebody right away, you can do that. So I'll just take a look. I'll get a little creepy here. If anybody wants to know where my wife is, okay, she's at home. That's a good sign. She's at home. And she just dropped my son off. So my son, I know his last location, but you see a little pause button. So the teens who use it have the right to turn off location sharing. So we still track their driving behavior, but we don't necessarily know at all times where they are. The last point they turned off location sharing, you can turn it off. I've had many user groups with my daughter and her teen friends, so some of the stuff they actually like, others that they don't. So then the other thing associated with this that I want to share is, if I go into this, so then basically, if you look at it, you can see, where I am, here I am. Basically, you can manage any group, right? So I have my specific group. I'll pull up, I call this my family. It's actually my posse. So this is actually the actual testers of the TrueMotion brand. So you can basically see, okay, we're headquartered in Boston. I can actually see, unfortunate for them, I can see where my employees are and what they're up to. But basically, you can basically create groups and have an engagement relationship with them. So for a couple of the insurers that we're working with, we're actually putting in an engagement and rewards program that actually incents the drivers for, 1, good behavior, and also certain driving behavior incentives that they want to put in place. And so as it relates to the app, we are, and just to wrap up with the app, so basically we are on just over 100,000 users. So we're just in pilot right now in the United States. We're working with one of the largest insurers in Europe right now. I can't name their name, but they're very large, and you'll know who they are pretty soon. They're going to roll out in the next couple of months. We are actually currently being piloted at 3 of the largest rideshare companies in the world. And our whole focus and our whole mission is to, 1, make sure the roads are safer, right? 2, do it in a way where the number 1 customer for everybody in this room is the millennial, right? And everybody knows the millennial's primary, appendage is their smartphone. And the surveys that we've done, over 93% of millennials say that they would engage with a platform like this if anything is in it for them. If they can get, any kind of reward whatsoever, they would use an app like this. And so in the US, the typical savings are between 30 and 40%. In Europe, they vary 20 to 35%. But that building of actually paying me to drive is a very attractive behavior to millennials, and we're finding that's the case in the United States. So I appreciate your time, and we'll get to drinks shortly. Thank you.